and welcome to another episode of Over the Cup podcast, a Formula One podcast for fans old and new, by Formula One fans old and new. We are today recording our official 50th episode with a full house and a very, very, very special guest. So I'm joined by Kramer, Chakoni, Honey Badger, Neil, and Honey Badger, would you like to introduce our special guest today?
It's my honor to introduce my fiance on this podcast for our 50th episode. I think yeah. Thank you for the cheer. But I think listeners won't be able to listen anything from her. She'll be just as a ghost. That's it. But
Yeah.
she's
That's
there here.
fine.
Yes, she's joined us to cheer us on. And we appreciate
Listeners
it.
don't listen to Kramer as well. It's fine.
Yeah, she's
The
just
bullying
like me
is
when there is no football discussion.
the bullying is already started.
We have to get personal because Chelsea won their match this weekend.
Yeah,
so-
we don't have any other things to bully Kramer, no? So we have to go.
Yeah.
But what a
um,
game Chelsea had, man. I mean,
yeah.
Sterling
come
was
on,
like
tell me
I
about
saw
it.
the
Okay.
Kramer just watched the replay.
Okay.
I think Sterling
Okay.
had a very wonderful game.
Okay. Before we get into the nitty-gritties of what happened over a very, very, very eventful weekend, I just want to say, because I don't think that I've ever told you guys, Hani Baja, Shakuni and Kramer, the reason this podcast happened was because of you. You guys were so kind and so helpful and compassionate when I wanted to understand the sport. You guys were so supportive and you answered my questions, and you guys were so patient with my stupid opinions that I would have in the beginning. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being the people that you are, because if you were not so sweet and so encouraging to me, I don't think this podcast would have started. And I am so happy that 50th episode, man. Like I'm
Dude,
Aw.
also, we have to thank you for doing all the main work.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
about to say, इतनी तारीफ
Exactly.
इतनी तारीफ पर काम तो तुम करती हो ना हम तो
No,
बोल
but
के
like,
निकल लेते हैं
yeah, but the thing is that I have that work to do because I have a team to record the podcast with. I would not talk to a laptop by myself. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, I'm not cutting the onions.
Yeah, it is Mansi.
But-
It is Mansi.
But in all fairness, Mansi, I think when you started the podcast also on the first episode, I think you did it all by yourself.
Yeah, the
and,
first
You had all the
episode.
notes and everything. You did all the prep.
yes. And also, I mean, I haven't seen a person get into sport this quickly and this deeply, especially talking about Formula One. I don't think anyone has picked up the all the history and all the nitty-gritties and all the nuances of the sport so quickly. I'm just proud of that. Like
Aw.
I taught you some things related to Formula One and you picked it up so
Badger
fast.
sounds like a proud father.
Yeah, but like it's because like, okay, Drive to Survive just fueled a curiosity in me. But
Yeah.
if it wasn't for Honey Badger and Shakuni, you and Kramer, you, this is the only praise you'll get from me, Kramer. So like, just enjoy it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying. If it
Enjoy while
wasn't
it
for
lasts,
you-
Kramer.
Yeah, and also like like recording a podcast. I mean, sure, we've had some periods of relative quietness over the podcast because life gets into way and everything, but just you guys said yes. There was nothing. You just like four strangers who met on the internet. You didn't have to say yes. You didn't have to continue. It's like now what, 1.5 years since we started the podcast. Like
Yep.
it didn't
Dude,
have to,
I
like
still remember our VC where we decided this to do.
yeah. And
I mean, we decided, but it wasn't materialized until Mansi took it up seriously, right? We had an idea,
Yeah.
yeah.
and that's about it. I mean,
remember,
everybody
like,
has
me
an
and
idea to
Mansi
do it.
sitting for hours together, like, to come up with a name.
Yeah. Oh my god,
I still have-
brainstorming on the
I
name.
still have that diary where I have written like 30 names or something.
Oh yeah, I remember we shared the names with each other and then we selected one and oh my god.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the podcast logo that we have, Honey Badger, you made it. And you were the
Oh,
one
yeah.
who actually told me. Until then, I hadn't watched the Lotus team in action. So you were like, this is a quintessential
Oh,
Lotus colors. So
What,
yeah,
really?
like, yeah, until then, I
yeah.
hadn't seen 2012 season. 2012 is when Lotus had that black and golden livery, right?
Yeah.
And then Haas redid
Haas
it
had it in
in
2019, I
2019
guess.
Yeah,
or
2019,
20.
Rich Energy,
19.
2019.
Nah,
That's season
19,
19.
2
yeah.
of Drive to Survive. I still remember some
Oh,
things through
yeah.
Drive to Survive. But yeah, so thanks, guys. If you have a drink or a bottle of water, raise it to all of you. Thank you. Thank you
Yep.
for
दारू लेके बैठना
joining
था
every
भूल
weekend.
गया.
Like, joining every weekend. There is, you guys
Yes.
could have all said, nope, not interested, and that would have been the end. So thank you. Thank you for
No, I think
indulging my
I
craziness.
think I am the person who missed out most of the episodes in the
No,
last
no,
1 year.
no. It would
So
be me. I think it would be me.
no.
Actually,
You
Mansi, you
guys
should
carried
do
out,
this
right?
list. You should do
Yes, you
this list.
both are not even in contention. Okay,
It's
in this
Kramer.
topic.
Ah,
It's Kramer.
I mean, obviously, apart from Kramer,
Kramer.
I'm talking.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not counting Kramer. No, I'm talking about me and Honey
Yeah.
Badger.
Yes,
Kramer
yes,
तो
yes.
कहाँ है podcast का part?
I
He's
am
just
like this
there.
special guest.
I mean, you guys carried on with the podcast. I couldn't contribute much in the last 1 year because of what happened in my life. So
Yeah.
props to you for keeping the things going on. Yeah, props to Mansi and
Shakuni.
Shakuni. Yeah.
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 But it's fun. It's fun to be back, and it's fun to sort of, we're now planning ahead of where we can take the podcast. And it's not just it's a weekly thing where we just chill with each other. We talk about the things we love. I'm so proud of us, of how far we have come and where we are planning to go.
And we've
I'm
also
senti today.
we also have a new member this year, right? Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who's my fiance? Okay, I've not introduced him formally. It was just like, this guy is now just part
बेचारा
of the
नील वेट कर रहा था.
podcast.
अभी मेरी बारी आएगी. अभी मेरी बारी आएगी.
I'm here by default.
Okay, let's get into it. Qatar GP. So for the Qatar weekend, which was a sprint weekend, which is the most chaotic sprint I've ever seen in
Oh
my
my
life.
god.
Even
safety
not the
cars.
sprint, the qualifying also. That was also.
Quali was
oh
also
my God.
intense. With the track limits
Oh
and
my
all, it was too intense.
I know.
Yeah, man. This track
Leclerc and
limits thing.
Hamilton were just so unlucky. Like, what the hell is wrong with FIA? वो क्या 1 millimeter भी नहीं चला रहा है?
No, but the thing is that I think Oscar had a pretty great quote after sprint shootout where he was like, let's give FIA 5 more minutes before we can celebrate the fact that I got my pole. Like, absolutely savage.
Nice boy.
We might have reached i7 processors, but they still work on Pentium 5. Like,
But it
Yeah.
was so sad for him and Lando how things happened in the first qualifying for the race. It was
yeah, but
for
like,
Oscar, it was even more sad. He got to know after that interview, and that's just
yeah,
Just sad.
and that's again, like, we've talked about it in Austria as well. I think this year Austria was track limits, like, oh my god, how many violations. But like, the FIA has to find a solution. But I would say that, can we just agree as fans that this circuit is not good?
and the curves that they selected. Okay, did you watch the first practice?
Yeah, I did.
I
Those
didn't
curves
watch.
can kill someone.
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have seen the pic. I mean, I didn't watch the practice, but I've seen the pic of the curbs being
The cars
way
were
more height than the
jumping.
usual.
The cars were jumping. It was like Formula 1 car की जगह SUV होता तो better रहता.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like you need an off-roading vehicle for those curbs. But like, the track is shit. It's a MotoGP track, first. Second, it's been resurfaced, and the whole pit stop thing, and you can only have like a maximum of 18 laps stint. And that's a blanket rule. It's not even like it's 10 for softs, 13 for mediums, and then 18 for hards. It's like 18
Right.
for
18 for
everything.
every tire.
And then
I think
also,
Max was the one
while I
who
was
said, I did not need 3 pit stops. I would have done this race in 2 also. My tires were really good.
no, I mean that's
Yeah.
because he wasn't pushing. He didn't need to push. He had a comfortable enough lead. But
But if his
the
tires were really good, so others would also have managed it in 2. I mean, I think this mandate was not needed, is what I'm saying.
no, but
They,
I think that if I think with the mandate thing, what happened was that nobody had to worry about their tires, because they were like, we anyways can't do more than 18 laps, so we might as well push on the entire stint. Like, the worst that can happen is they have to call us in before the 18 laps are done, but like nobody was like nursing their tires and biding their time or anything of that sort. But also, like, the conditions, man, like Logan Sargent retiring from the
oh
race
yeah.
because he wasn't feeling well. Esteban Ocon said that he
Oh,
puked in the
Puked,
car
yeah.
on
puked
lap
inside the helmet,
17.
dude.
He puked inside the helmet.
And even Stroll said,
Everybody.
okay, I don't know about like how true it is, but Stroll said that he passed out once and then he just gained consciousness in the DRS. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, what?
No, not in the DRS. He said that he was passing out like in the last 17 laps or something. He was passing out in the high speed corners.
Oh,
What?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, that's what he said. And you saw that video of George putting, raising up his visor and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
letting the air in for on the pit straight, right?
That
Alonso
I saw. I
saying
think,
that my ass is on fire. Can you
I
Oh,
think
can
he
you
asked
throw
for
some
yeah.
water to
water
be
on me?
thrown. I think he asked
Oh.
for water to be thrown on him, right? Or something
thrown
like that.
when he comes to a pit stop, right?
Yeah.
Almost like
And-
almost
Why?
every driver while driving into the pit was had their visors off.
I have not seen drivers this tired and suffering so much, even in Singapore, which is supposed to be like the hardest race because of the humidity and everything. And I think
Yes.
I was listening to P1 with Matt and Tommy, and they checked the humidity levels when they were recording. I think it was around 79%. I'm like, why? Why do
Oh
we
my
need?
God.
Why do we need this circuit? It's not a Formula One circuit. It's not like it's one of the. It's not like it's Silverstone, and this weekend just happened to have shitty weather. It's not like that. Why do we
I
need this circuit?
So I just
Yeah,
shared a
yeah, yeah.
video
So
on our group, Alban getting out of his car. It is so sad. He's not
with the,
able to stand up. He's just this is so. I think they need to
I mean,
think again about Qatar. This is not right. I mean, Saudi and all, पता नहीं bomb गिर के मरेंगे, पर कतर में तो heat से they will die definitely.
I mean, both the things are bad. Like, let's just.
अरे
It's
पर
not like
बॉम्ब में तो
one or the
एक्सटर्नल
other.
डेथ है ना, बॉम्ब में एक्सटर्नल
No,
डेथ है, ये
no,
तो
but
गाड़ी
like,
चला के
but,
मरेगा.
but that's my point. Like,
Okay, any
between
type
okay,
of death
if
is
you
bad, okay.
any type of death is bad. Okay, let's think critically. Are
Yeah.
you literally telling me that between the
Okay,
four of
wait.
us, if every circuit that is problematic because of such dangers, we can't name another circuit where a race can happen? Of course it
Oh, I
can.
can name 5 more. For if you remove Qatar
Exact-
and Saudi, I can name 5 more. But the thing is,
Exactly
they
my
will not
point.
remove Saudi because Aston Martin, Aramco, they will not remove Saudi. It is not happening. But Qatar का तो किसी के साथ नहीं है ना tie-up. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I don't
Qatar
understand
Airways.
this.
But
this-
which team are they sponsoring? And neither is
they're
the
not
FIA
sponsoring, but
president
I
from
mean,
Qatar.
it's
The
all
greed-
about
the
money,
greed
right?
cannot come at the cost of the health, and
Okay,
not
yeah,
just the
yeah.
health. Like, if a driver passes out because of such heat and crashes and ends up dead or gravely injured, who's liable? Is the people who are having the Grand Prix, who choose to have a race on this track.
Dude,
Why
I've
the
been reading
fuck do
about
we
this.
need this?
I've been reading about this, and there was on some post there was a comment like so there was this guy who commented, I've been living in Doha for like 9 years now.
Hmm.
It didn't make any sense. It absolutely made no sense having a GP at this point of time. Only in the mid-November, the summer kind of fades away, it seems.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the time like
A-
football World Cup also happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
that's the time we had the World Cup.
like at the World Cup also they were complaining about the heat, right?
Heat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
And how did they have this in mind to have a race at this point of time in Qatar? I'm not sure now. I mean, I didn't know this actually before going into the race weekend. But dude, oh my God, after seeing them struggling throughout the race and after, I mean, Lando reported, right? Several
Lando
drivers have
reported,
fainted.
to anybody who watched the race, if you listen to Lawson talking to his pit wall, and the first time he said he's not feeling well, and his engineer says that you can retire. The important thing is you, but the amount of pressure he has to like save his seat and contract negotiations and this and that. He says that I can make it, trust me, I can make it. Like you can hear the plea in his voice, and then couple of laps later he's like, nah man, I cannot do it, and he nearly loses it while he's taking his William back to the pit lane.
Yeah, even
Surely
Sargent.
no. Yeah, did I say Lawson?
Uh,
Oh fuck.
yeah, you said
Yeah,
Lawson. Yeah.
I'll edit it. I just have to replace Liam with Sergeant.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, Qatar GP, not a fan. The track is shit. This mandatory pit stop thing, like it
Oh,
was
even
so
Russell was about
stupid.
to faint. What the
Oh my
fuck?
god.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, everybody. I don't think there was a single driver who was like, yeah, it was chill. I didn't have.
Dude, the for at least once the cool down room was actually a cool down room.
Yeah. It was. It literally was.
So I saw a photo. I don't know if it is real or not. Piastri just
It
sleeping
is
on
it
the
I-
floor.
yes, it is real. It is real.
Yeah, they all those photographs and everything are real. And like as fans, we should be asking the right questions. Like, why is this race necessary? There is no reason to be racing here. First of all, a 24-25 race calendar is stupid. Okay, that's like for people like us who are making a podcast for every race weekend, it's not sustainable.
I mean, it's a great opportunity for content creation, but not at the cost of what others suffering.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of logistics, the pressure on drivers, uh there's just so many things. And if you have to have a long ass calendar like this, like at least pick good tracks. You already have like this physically taxing race in Singapore, and I think S- you had Singapore, then you had Japan, and then now you have another race like Qatar, which is like it's almost similar to. And Singapore is a race where like drivers lose
Oh,
three
there
to
is a
four
video of
kilos.
Stroll passing out. Wait. I'll share.
Oh my god, I don't want to watch other people suffering, man. Like
But
it's
this is so okay. I think FIA needs to do something. What the fuck?
yeah, because if you look at it in a span of 3 weeks, they've had these two very grueling races, which is not needed. Singapore also, like with the exception of this race, I would say, and only because Mercedes went for an aggressive strategy, Singapore is not that great. Once it's another Monaco, right? It's
So
another
this
Monaco
troll
where,
incident could have had like a very fatal ending.
yeah, it could have
Yeah.
had.
Yeah. I mean, not only Strolls, everyone's actually.
Everyone, anybody who, like, do they not know what happens when your body is severely depleted of electrolytes? Your hand can lock up, your feet can lock up. Like you can just have a spasm where you're not able to slow down the car, or you can have a spasm on the other leg and you brake so hard, or you're not able to press the brake when you're supposed to press the brake. Like there's so many things that can happen, but for some reason everybody's okay racing here, and
And
I don't get it.
they're wearing the race suits, man.
Yeah, like you
Imagine
are
the
taking more
temperature
care
inside.
of, you're putting in more safety measures to take care of drivers by making them switch their tires, but not paying any
Dude, and
attention
these
to
guys
their
are
what the
like
condition is
acting.
in the.
These guys are acting like a safety inspectors by questioning Lewis's nose ring.
Yeah. I mean, like the nose ring is a 2022 thing. I think it's been sorted for a while now. But yeah, Qatar GP needs to go. We need to find, like, the FIA needs to find a better solution to track limits thing, because you can't be giving out these decisions after nobody has an option to do anything. Like, I don't. Oscar Piastri's comment was so funny.
Savage.
Okay,
But
what has gotten into Stroll this week?
I
He
don't
lashed
know,
out on
man.
the FIA.
I don't. He lashed out on the FIA. He lashed out on his personal trainer after he got out of qualifying on Friday. He
Yeah.
pushed him, and then
So
Saturday
he
again
lashed.
he got out of Q1, like the first session, SQ1 or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, just do better,
Train
man.
shootout.
No. So
Yeah.
he's talking about the track limit penalties for the qualifying and all. So what he's saying is that the track limit penalties were introduced and more severely seen this weekend was because of the curbs, because the curbs were dangerous. He's saying then you remove the curbs, you just paint them, and then you say that okay, now because we have removed the curb, the track is even a little narrower, but you still can't go over the white line. And if you go over the white line, we will not consider the time that you put in. So what do they want us to do? Do they want us to race, or do they want us to see where the white line is?
I mean, but
To be
like, to be
very
fair,
honest, he's
everybody
not
said
wrong.
he's not wrong, but to be fair, others did set
No,
their times.
everyone,
I'm not like, I mean, everyone had their
but you have to
uh
understand that the ones in the top five, you have to understand that they have much faster cars. So they don't have to push in as much as the other guys. Verstappen also, when he was under pressure from Lando and Oscar, his lap time also got deleted because everyone who is under pressure will make these mistakes. They don't have any room for error. There is no
there's a
margin
very simple
in turn
dude,
5
there's a
and 13.
very simple solution. Don't have this GP. The track is shit. The conditions are shit.
But
Just don't
it's
have
not
this
just
GP.
so even in Austria, but I'm talking about even in Austria where the track is very narrow.
Mm.
So in a track which is very narrow, the guys who with a little slower cars will try to push in the turns.
No,
So
no, no.
if you take that,
I mean, I think in Austria, I would say maybe turn 5 is a little bit narrow, which is where there were a lot of infringements, but not turn 10. Turn 10 is wide enough.
but I'm talking about the narrow turns only. That the guys with the slower cars will try to push as much as they can in the turns. If you take that also from them, then you are just saying that the faster car is the winner. फिर तो क्वालिफाइंग का मतलब ही क्या है?
But like, but turn 5 is like turn 5 in Austria is also a place where a lot of overtakes happen. Like, I don't.
Because they go on the curbs. इसमें तो curb पे जा नहीं सकते ना, problem उधर
No,
है.
but like, even if you go on the curb and like overtake on turn 5 outside of track limits, you have to give the position back. I don't think Austria
But
is a
outside,
problem.
no,
I think
so
in Austria the problem is the monitoring. In Losail, I can still understand because it's a MotoGP track. It's not built for F1 racing. It is not.
and इधर तो
MotoGP, like,
turn
the cars
बहुत,
are like
इसमें तो
the
everyone,
bikes.
like I saw that even Verstappen, who is so good in maintaining the track and everything, when he was under pressure and was trying to push a little, he also had violated the track limits. And I was like, what the hell is happening? And if you look at the Verstappen one, he is just 1 millimeter away from the white line. Like legit, वो white line के बाजू में उसका tire है. And I am not a Verstappen fan. I will never defend him. But this is too much.
No, I get your point, but
इतना
again,
तो
like,
फुटबॉल में वीआर भी नहीं करता चेक जितना ये लोग करते हैं. What the
oh,
hell?
bro, VAR decisions have been given on micro meters. If you have any doubt, ask a Chelsea fan. But
No.
No, we should ask a
And let's
Liverpool
not
fan.
get into
Yeah, no, it's
No,
Liverpool.
let's
It's
not
Liverpool
get-
fan.
No,
I am a
let's
Liverpool
not get
fan, dude.
into
We were
Chelsea
like,
and
तुम्हारा
VAR.
तुम्हारा
okay,
मैनेजर ही
yeah.
सबसे ज्यादा वीआर कंप्लेन करता है.
No, but like Chelsea fans will always say that they have been the biggest victims of VAR.
Yeah, but refereeing, not we.
रेफरिंग उनको वीआर नहीं है.
Okay, but I mean, see, again, it all boils down to the fact that the FIA needs to find a solution to these problems. Like, concerns have been raised. What's the way ahead? The problem is that they'll hear all these things and they are going to be like, ah, okay, sad, we move on. Like, no, that's not how a sport is supposed to be governed. What is the solution for it? Like, we have to talk
अभी तो और नहीं
solutions.
होगा because they are like by next year the cars will be even smaller. So वो तो और नहीं करेंगे अभी track change.
Yeah, but not just that. Like, track limits, I think that while, of course, on very narrow circuits, there is a possibility because the cars are wide and everything, even if the cars do get narrow, they're not suddenly going to be drastically narrow, first thing. Second thing, I think that the tracks where we potentially see a lot of track limit violations and the tracks and the specific turns where we see a lot of track limit violations are usually the turns where you're entering the corner and exiting the corner carrying a huge speed.
High speed corner.
They're usually high speed corners. So, like, what is the solution? I think Qatar as a circuit is not something that should exist on an F1 calendar. If Qatar is that determined to have a GP in Qatar, build a better track first, one which is suitable for Formula One, and then make sure that you're not having a GP at a time where it's not
Suitable for the drivers.
safe for the drivers to be having a race. Like,
Make it the second last race, na? Abu Dhabi ke
either
pehle.
you either do it just before Abu Dhabi, or if Bahrain and Saudi are going to be the season openers, then you slot it somewhere there.
हाँ
Like,
वो भी
because
चलेगा
these
क्योंकि
are
उस टाइम
all
भी थोड़ा
desert
ठंड होगा.
countries, right? Yeah, exactly. They're all desert countries. So, like, it should either be then, or it should either be start of the season, or it should be end of the season, if it absolutely has to be on the calendar. Me personally, the Losail circuit should not be on F1 calendar, because it's not just about like the 3 pit stop mandate. Like, as F1 fans, in the past, if you've seen a race where people say this could potentially be a 3
3
pit
pit
stop race, you will be excited. Here the excitement was that it could become like a from like 3 pit stops to a 4 pit stop race for some people if they wanted to try a different strategy. But and I mean, like, for the final stint in the main GP, we only had George Russell on the softs, which wasn't like, he wasn't able to have the speed as you would expect for a soft runner to have, but it could be because of that first lap collision that he had with Lewis. So I'm not sure how much damage he was carrying on the car, but my point is that it took away the excitement of the pit stop strategy, because like if you watch the race,
And
it's like
undercut overcut का तो chance ही नहीं है ना क्योंकि 3 तो
there's no
compulsory बोल
yeah,
दिया है.
exactly. And the tire information that the FIA released. So once they mandated this, what they did was, for each driver, what is the tire and how many laps are available on these tires, they published that list publicly. So
Yeah.
all competitors had information on what the other person's tires are. So there's no element of strategy that you can play because it's already there. Even on the screen while the race is going on, it's like Lando Norris cannot go on these tires beyond this lap. So everybody knows when Lando has to pit. Like, they know when he has to pit. Also, one thing I'm not sure of is the ruling. Did it mean that you cannot have a continuous 18 lap during the race on a tire, or it was that you cannot have more than 18 laps on the tire? Because I don't know.
No,
and I
I
don't know
think
if
it was you can't
It's
have
max 18 laps.
max
Yeah,
18
it was
lives on
maximum
the
18 laps.
live
Yeah.
on
No,
on
the
the
no,
tire.
no.
Yeah,
tire.
you have to pit before the 18th lap, like after
Yes,
Because
on or
exactly.
before
so
the 18th lap.
now I and I don't know if I've shared this photo with you or not, but so like on the F1 data channel that I was looking at, what it showed for Lando and Alonso, they pitted after completing 19 and 20 laps respectively on one set of mediums. I don't remember which second or third stint, which stint it was, but they did pit after completing. So Lando had completed 19 laps, Alonso had completed 20 laps. Now, what I don't know is if those were fresh set of mediums or if they were used set of or like scrubbed set of mediums. I'm not sure about that, but that is what the data channel showed. Now there is also a possibility, because it's an F1 data channel, that the data was faulty, but I'm not sure. With the information available to me and what I hear from what the mandate was, if it is about that you cannot have more than 18 laps on one set of tires, and they said that if you exceed that, you'll be disqualified, then with the information that I have, Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso should have been disqualified because they did 19 and 20 laps respectively. I'm not asking for the disqualification. I'm just saying that the rules are so vague. Like the amount of consideration and like changes in the rules and everything that they needed to make for the circuit, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Like sure, the sprint was what do you say, like a bit entertaining, but it wasn't entertaining because there was a lot of action happening on the track. It was because people were just going off. We had 3 safety cars over a course of 19 laps. That is why it was entertaining, because it became like this thing. Because we had certain number of drivers who started on softs, certain number of drivers who started on mediums. So it was like, oh, because of so many safety cars, are the soft runners going to be able to, have the pace that they would have on softs? Spoiler alert, they weren't able to have, and medium was obviously the right choice. But it took away any element of strategy. It took away everything that can make a race weekend exciting. Add to it the fact that the drivers were miserable when they were driving in that car, and I think this is a race that I will never watch. If it is happening, going forward, if there is a Qatar GP, let's take a break, guys. Let's not review it. It's not worth it. Like, let's just enjoy our lives. Because for me, it was bad. And not
so
just because
glad
Lewis
that I
Hamilton
skipped
was
this
out
race.
of the race. But in all fairness, Kramer, you're glad that you didn't watch the race, but you also missed Chelsea's what was it? 4-1? 4-1. 4-1 win.
I am ready to miss the entire season if Chelsea is winning.
It's the same thing with me. I've said that Liverpool always wins when I don't watch the match. I was watching the end, and that's when Brighton scored, and it was 2-2.
By the looks
I was
of
sad.
it, when I saw the race results, it looked like a very exciting race.
It wasn't though. As somebody who watched the entire race, it wasn't. The only exciting thing that happened was the first lap collision between Lewis and George. And okay, let me get into it, guys, because I want to issue an apology to you guys. Because the moment it happened, I was like, it was 100% George's fault. I take that back. It was Lewis's fault. It was 100% his fault. George couldn't go anywhere. When I saw the replay, I could see that George didn't have anywhere to go. Having said that,
no, so in my opinion, I think it's a racing incident. I don't credit the fault to either of the drivers. I'm pretty sure that's a racing incident.
Which is what the FIA also said. But
But the reason why I would say it is Hamilton's fault is because veteran, he should have given a little bit more space to George. But I know that because of that soft tire, the grip and everything, I understand that it was not possible at that moment. But yeah, as a veteran driver, that is the only reason why I would say, it was Hamilton's fault, because
I mean,
he knows what happens.
Yeah. You're saying that it was expected of him to not do that mistake, is it?
Yeah. In that aspect, I would say it was Lewis's fault.
But or else, it is definitely racing incident. Happens almost every other race this happens. And could have happened to anyone. But the only reason why I would say I would give this as a Hamilton's fault is because veteran driver has been in this situation, gotten out of this situation. So he should have known better that George को थोड़ा space देने का था. Because
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
both were in
But like,
contention to do what the McLaren did. They both
no,
could
no,
have
no.
finished.
But Shakuni, here is where I will differ from you, because the way I see it is, if Mercedes was starting 2 and 3, which is what they were doing, for me, the problem is that why was George? So George was there because he was actively trying to cut off Lewis gaining a place on him, which is the problem that I have with that incident. George is not trying to make a move on Max, and that is the reason that he's there. George is trying to actively make sure that Lewis does not gain that place on him, which is the problem I have with that incident. George should have been in Max's slipstream, because they are on different strategies. George started on medium, Lewis started on softs. Okay, Lewis is always going already going to be faster. He is going to be on a different strategy than him, and George is the driver who has qualified above Hamilton, so he's obviously on a preferential strategy. Okay, first, like you stay in his slipstream. If Max moves to cover off Lewis, you then make a move on the inside. Either way, or if Max does not move to cover Lewis because he thinks that, he's eventually going to get Lewis, it is a Mercedes 1-3 either ways. Which Mercedes leads is a different thing altogether, but it's a Mercedes 1-3. And as a driver who has been very sassy on the radio on the last race saying, who are we fighting, guys, each other or the others? That was a dick move from George. That is why I'm angry at him. To
But then
not be
saying,
actively
out of the two, one is a 7-time world champion, a veteran of the sport, and the other is trying to prove his point. Still young,
What
still
point is he
immature,
trying to prove? What point is he trying to prove?
trying to make his
Mercedes.
mark,
No.
trying to win a GP.
Listen, no. I'll tell you one thing, okay? No more of this bullshit that he's trying to make up. He's trying to prove his worth. He's proven his worth. There is a reason he's still in that car, and he has renewed a contract with Mercedes for 2020 till 2025. Okay, no more of this bullshit. He knows that his teammate is in a tough battle for P2. He knows that his team is in a tough battle with two different constructors for P2. If not for Lewis, do it for the fucking team, man. On a race where Stroll is starting already outside of point scoring places, and on a race weekend where Carlos Sainz is not even starting the race. So Ferrari is already at a disadvantage because they already have just one car starting the GP. That is a dick move to make. I'm not saying that the incident was George's fault, but I'm saying that you don't need to be cutting off Lewis, man. You don't need to do that. You guys are on different strategies.
Yeah.
Your enemy is not your teammate. Lewis is not, it's like, I would understand this kind of a battle happening between Ocon and Gasly, who are like similar ages. They're trying to prove their worth, this, that. Okay, Ocon has been with the team, but Gasly has a point to prove. But they're similar ages. They still have a lot of career left for both of them, and blah, 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 blah. Not the same thing with Lewis and George. George is the future of the team, but he has to actively show that he's willing to play the team game, even if it means that sometimes he might have to back out of a corner, back out of a move, just so that the team benefits. I will not make any more excuses for George Russell. Like, his reign of terror has gone on for too long. I don't even care. Like, Lewis winning second in the World Driver Championship would be good, but either way, it doesn't matter. But if Mercedes loses the second place in the constructors, I would say it is George Russell's fault in Qatar here for trying to cut off Lewis, where it could have been a very good point scoring chance for them, and in Singapore, the mistake that he made, because he got too desperate to try to get past Lando Norris. And a lot of it also lies with the team and the way they are managing these two drivers. Like, you have a very strong driver pairing, and whatever is your intention to be to have these two drivers on separate strategies and shit like that, how is this not a discussion before you're starting the race? Guys, this is legitimately a possibility that can happen. And so, George, you need to make sure that you're not in Lewis's way. At the end of the day, the point is to get a 1-2. And if they are 1-2 and Max is not a threat, then let them race, which happened. What are you saying? George needs to prove it worth. He's the last GP winner. He was under threat from Lewis in Brazil after the safety car ended, and he drove phenomenally. He held his own. He won the GP. What the fuck,
Yeah.
man? No, there's no. I will not accept any more excuses for George Russell. The team is in such a close battle for P2 in both championships. There is no way, no reason for him to be making a move on Lewis. If it was Lando on that side, if Lando was starting third, if Oscar was starting third, I would have still understood it. It's your own damn teammate, man. It's a 1-3 either way. How the fuck does it matter? At the end of the day, it's points for the team. And what are you trying to prove? You're fucking, what, 6th or 7th in the standings. You're not winning the championship. Max is already the world champion. How are you not understanding what is needed for the team as of right now? Especially considering that you lost a significant amount of time just last weekend and the weekend before that. I would not say even Japan. Japan does it. I would say Japan also, he took a gamble and it did not pay off, but like his radios and his attitude towards this team dynamic and a strategy favoring him and his sass on the radio, I just cannot anymore. I'm not blaming him for the incident, but I'm just saying that he was there because he was trying to cut off the wrong person. He didn't need to be cutting off his teammate. Your teammate is starting on softs. Of course, you knew that information before. And to me, that seems like an unnecessary, reckless move.
Is Kramer asleep? I have not heard him since so long.
No,
And it's
I'm
because
just
I'm the only
listening.
one who's I'm the only one who's talking. But I'm just saying, dude, like it was such an amazing Sunday for me. Like City lost. I was so happy. Like, okay, Tottenham and Arsenal are on the top of the table right now, but they're bottlers. They're going to fuck up. So it's only a 1-point game between us and City as of right now. So it's still manageable. And like the race ruined the entire weekend for me. And yeah. But to the point that Honey Badger mentioned on our group chat, in the sprint, the luck factor for Hamilton, oh my god,
Yeah.
that was crazy. Absolutely 100% agree. He got so lucky with that 3-car collision that happened. It would have taken him ages to be able to make that pass. Let's get to predictions. Now, the technicality on which I don't want to give points to Kramer because he's come up with this bullshit new ways to do predictions. Okay. He predicted at least 3 position gaps between Albon and Sargent. Okay.
Wow.
I get it.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
a fair prediction. Okay. But let me throw you guys a curveball. Sargent was not classified. He doesn't have a position. His official position on the F1 page is NC, not classified. He didn't complete 80% of the laps, so he's
Oh,
not classified.
Kramer doesn't
So
get points.
he doesn't
Yeah.
get points, right?
He doesn't get no, he doesn't get the points.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a position.
Man, okay, large in this is shown as DNF. I didn't calculate that point only. I had forgotten about this.
Okay, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to be sure of this. But I think because he's not classified, if he completed 80% of the laps and he got position 18 because we had 17 classifiers and he would have gotten 18, I would have given you 1 point, but he's not classified.
Yeah,
So you
that's
don't
fine.
get point for that one. Okay, great then. That was the only thing I had. So Kramer predicted for second position onwards, Sainz, Lewis, Alonso, of course. Let's not talk
Nothing
about
happened.
that heartbreak for me. Fastest lap to Max, so 1 point there. At least 3 position gaps, not between Albon and Sargent, didn't happen. Ferrari fastest pit stop could have happened, because I think they did
Yeah.
a 1.9
If
pit
not for
stop.
McLaren.
If not for McLaren, you would have gotten point for that. And at least one Alfa Romeo DNF, which also did not happen. Shakuni, you predicted first position onwards. Ham, Max, Charles. I wish that was the truth. Fastest lap to George did not happen. Signs out of top 5 in main race, which was right. Bottas in top 15 in main race, which was also right.
Oh,
And
come on,
Albon
man.
Hey,
in
wait. So shouldn't we cancel the point for Sainz as well? I mean, he's also not classified, right?
but
No. He's out of top 5, technically.
he's
No,
out of top 5. But he didn't know going into the race weekend
he
that he would not
didn't go
race.
into the race only. Yeah.
But Shakuni didn't know that.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
so did Kramer. He didn't. I mean, but like 3 positions between
Yeah, but
Albon
there
and
is no
Sargent is a
position
bit
for Sargent.
obvious. But yeah, there's no position for Sargent.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't have a position, official position. That's why there's no point.
He has a grid position of starting 12.
No. But it's not about the starting. He
Finish.
said that there will be. It'll be at least a 3 position gap between them at the finish of the race. So that's why.
Okay.
And Albon in Q2. So that's 3 points for Shakuni. Anibaja, you predicted second position onwards. Perez, Charles, Lewis. Fastest lap to Max, so 1 point there. All 3 of your crazy predictions, like just general predictions, were right. At least one Merc in top 5 in main race, which is correct. Different pole sitters, which I am so happy that this finally came true for you, because I think you predicted this for every sprint weekend.
Yeah.
And overall, at least 5 DNFs in sprint plus main race, which I mean, to be fair, your prediction already came through in the sprint. We already had
Yes.
5 DNFs. I predicted second position onwards, Norris, Carlos, Piastri, fastest lap to Max. I said Ferrari score more points than Mercedes. Thank God it did not happen. Williams to score points, which did happen, and at least one AlphaTauri in Q2 in main qualifying, which also happened. So I get 2. It is now a 2-point battle between me and Kramer. Kramer is on 61. I'm on 59. Shakuni, you are on 53, and Honey Badger, you're on 35, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm on
Resume is
53. How?
Yeah, it's a 2-point battle between me and Kramer. And this is after his deductions have been baked in. So, yeah.
I am the Aston Martin now of this podcast.
You are. You really did have a good start to the season, but life happens. It's okay. Do we have anything else?
Nah.
Thank you so much for joining the episode, and thank you for putting up with me talking way too much on our episodes. And thank you for doing this with me, guys. I really appreciate you all, and I love you all. You guys
Good
are
luck with the editing.
the best. Guys are the
Best of luck with the editing.
I'll manage. That's not a problem. But this was fun. 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Technically, it will be like 57th, but I'm not counting the pit stop episodes that we released. So this is like the 50th episode. But yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you everybody for listening. If you have any feedback for us, or if you want us to cover anything, or if you want to be part of the podcast, please write to us at overthecuppodcast@gmail.com, or comment on our YouTube or on Spotify, or reach out to us on our Instagram or on our Twitter. Until Kota, which is the next race. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.